One of the sections in a research paper or a thesis that people tend to struggle most is the literature review. That's why in this video I want to show you exactly how to write a literature review and how to structure it so that after watching it you can go off and write an excellent literature review either for a paper or for a thesis. And this is going to work regardless of the field that you're in. So I know a lot of people think, oh, you know, I'm doing theology and I'm doing quantum physics, I'm doing teaching English, and it's all completely different. Right? The literature you will be reviewing is completely different, but the way you write it is actually the same. So let's dive in and let's see how this is done. Now, if you're new here, my name is Marek Kiczkowiak and I run Academic English Now, where I help PhD students and researchers regularly publish papers in top journals in the field. And if you want to work with me more closely, then book a free one-to-one consultation call. The link is right below this video, and we'll see how we can help you. So when it comes to the literature review, the first key thing that you need to do at the very beginning is to identify the main topics or the main themes that you're going to be reviewing the literature on. Because in any broad area, right, there are so many things to review and so many topics that it can be overwhelming, and you don't have time nor space to do that either in a research paper or in a literature review chapter. And the biggest mistake that you can make is just to try to do everything and try to do too much, because that's going to result in you being very descriptive and lengthy and just like going off on a tangent and not really getting to the point. That's why you want to identify the key topics for your literature review and subtopics. How do you do that? Well, the easiest way is to derive them from the aim of your study, right? Or from the research questions that you've got. So to give you an example, a recent study that we've done investigates, you know, who is a plenary speaker, who is invited to be a plenary speaker at conferences for English language teachers, right? So we've got a couple of topics in, and we're specifically looking at, you know, ethnical representation and also in terms of native and non-native speakers, right? So what we've got here is a couple of topics, like for example, we need to review research on conferences, more specifically plenary speakers at conferences. We also then want to look at, you know, another topic would be to look at overall, you know, any sort of ethnic or discrimination in terms of native, non-native speakers overall in English language teaching, right? Because that's another topic that we're doing here. And also conferences in general is a topic, right? Why are scientific conferences important, and why should we study them? Why should anybody care, right? So you take your research aim, and then from this you derive, you know, typically, you know, 3-4 main themes that you want to discuss, right? That you need to discuss, in fact, because the whole point of the literature review is that you're going towards the research gap and towards the research aim, right? So you should only be discussing stuff that is relevant. Now, when you've got these main themes, like let's say, you know, plenary speakers at conferences or conferences more general, then, you know, we can talk about subtopics within them, right? We need to look at plenary speakers or maybe all the speakers invited, you know, and we can look at research in my field, teaching English, but if there is no research in that field, then we want to look at other fields like, I don't know, biology, quantum physics, whatever other research we can find, right? If there's no research on specifically on ethnicity, what we are interested in, well, we could look at gender representation of plenary speakers at major conferences, right? These are all subtopics that we're going to be discussing within this broader topic of, let's say, conferences and plenary speakers, right? So that's another thing. First, identify the main themes and then identify the sub-themes. Now, once you've done that, what you need to clarify to yourself is where you're actually going with it. Think about it like this, you know? Think about the literature review as a journey on which you're going and you're taking the reader along with you. If you have no idea what the destination of that journey is, then clearly you're not going to be able to get there. Or you're just going to go like this and just get lost, right? whenever we sit in a car or we go somewhere, usually like we kind of know where we're going, and then we get directions from Waze or Google Maps how to actually get to that place. But the first point is to actually know the destination. And to understand how to do that is to kind of answer the question, why? Why am I doing it? So what? Right? So imagine like you've presented something on plenary speakers at conferences, and you've described previous studies and what, representation and balance of plenary speakers they found at conferences. But so what? Like, I mean, what is your point? What are you trying to show us? Right? If you're, for example, trying to show us that, there is a lot of gender discrimination at scientific conferences in terms of who gets invited as a plenary speaker, then say that. That's your why, that's your main point, that's where you're going. Right? And on a more general level, where you're going with all of it is towards the research gap and towards the research aim. But the purpose in every section, paragraph, should be clear to the reader. So a good trick is to just ask yourself, so what? Once you've written a paragraph, so what? And tell the reader, so what? Why? What is the destination? What should they know from it? Right? Now, this will really help you to be more critical in the literature review, which is a very important element. What happens, and one of the biggest mistakes that I see when I start working with my clients, is that it's very descriptive, right? They just kind of describe the previous studies. But it's not going anywhere. People give a lot of details about how the study was conducted, where it was conducted, what happened in the study, and a ton of details about the results. But it's just a description of the study. But a literature review is not a description of previous studies. A literature review is an argument, right? That goes to our main thesis, our main point, answers the so what question, right? So in order to do that, you need to avoid waffling, avoid describing studies, and get to the point. Most of the time what we're interested in is the result of the study. Don't tell us what the topic of the study was, how it was conducted, all that stuff. Tell us what they found, what they observed, and how this relates to other studies, and how this relates to your study. That's the key in the literature review. Of course, sometimes it might be relevant to tell us what the methodology of a particular study was, because you want to make a specific point about the methodology. You want to point out that the methodology that previous studies have been using is faulty, and that everybody uses this faulty methodology. Then of course it makes sense, right? So it all comes down to kind of knowing the purpose, the destination, where you're going, right? And then rather than describing stuff, just being critical and only presenting relevant things that are connected to your main point that you're trying to prove or show us in the literature review. Now, another really important thing is, of course, how to structure the whole thing, right? A very easy way to do that is to structure it from general to specific. You can think of it as an inverted pyramid, right? Where your destination is the pyramid apex at the very bottom, which is your research aim, the research gap, and then you start with more general stuff, and you go like this to more specific stuff, right? That's a really easy way of structuring things. Another way that might make sense when it comes to structuring is chronological order, right? So if you're trying to present the development of something, of let's say a particular research area in your field, then structuring it from the oldest to the newest might make sense as well, right? Sometimes it also might make sense to organize your literature by fields or subfields. So let's say if you have a more multidisciplinary take on something, well, you can show us how psychologists have investigated this issue, neuroscientists, sociologists, economists, right? And then bring all those perspectives together, right? But you would be organizing it by those different fields. But by far the most common way is just kind of general to specific, and of course you can mix and match them in different paragraphs or in different sections of your literature review. Now, in order to be able to show the reader the logic and tell a coherent story, what you also need to do is to vary the pattern in which you're referring to studies in the literature review. So what I see very often is that people just start each sentence with the name of the author and say what they did. So they will say stuff like, Gonzalez studied X, Y, and Z. In addition, you investigated X, Y, and Z. And finally, Kiczkowiak also studied X, Y, and Z, right? Now, what this does is that A, it makes your text very repetitive, B, it's much more difficult to draw connections between those studies because it's going to end up being a descriptive list of things. So what you want to do is you want to vary the referencing pattern. Of course, sometimes you can start with the research and say like, you studied X, Y, and Z. But then in the following sentence, it probably makes more sense like to, for example, say, this issue has also been investigated by several other researchers, right? Right? And you see with this issue, we provide a clear connection, right? Or you can simply expand on that issue and say like, one of the effects of this problem is blah, blah, blah. And then at the end, just put a reference to a study, right? So the way you start your sentence allows you to link to the preceding sentence and to have a more coherent story in your literature review. So this is how you write and you structure a really good literature review. And if you're going to remember just one thing from this video, is this why, the so what question. This is crucial, right? When you're writing the literature review, please don't just waffle and describe what other people have done. Ask yourself why, what is my point? What am I trying to tell the reader here? And tell the reader that, and only use relevant information to do that, right? If you're interested in learning how to regularly write research papers and you want to work with me more personally, then book a completely free one-to-one consultation. We're going to jump on a Zoom call and see what challenges you're facing when it comes to writing research papers, and then show you how we might be able to help you resolve these challenges so you get to publish your research in much better journals. And the link is right below this video.